Now that we're into Word Unit C and continuing on with Word Unit D, this is more about the formatting of a document. How do you make it interesting? How do you get people's attention? And if you look at a document like this, it's really boring. Look at this. The numbers and the descriptions are all running together. There's nothing that stands out in this to me. So you don't even have your titles the way titles should be. So let's start by talking about the font itself. When you're talking about a font, you're talking about the characters, with the typeface of the characters. So if I were to highlight this first line, and I go up here to the types of fonts in the Home tab under the font group, and I open this, you've got a lot of different fonts. You see this as it changes. There's even one that changes it to symbols. They're down at the bottom alphabetically. They're called wingdings. They're fun to play with sometimes if you really want to mess with somebody's minds. You've got Comic Sans. I like that one for some reason. It's one that I use a lot. And you've got very serious fonts. You've got, if you go on down here, you've got this old face type font. And if you're looking in the background, you can see these fonts changes of those characters that I highlighted. You've got some that are all italic. You scroll down here a little bit more, you can see there are some that are strictly bold. You've got ones here that are strictly uppercase. So be careful when you use those that are uppercase, because that's all you're going to get is uppercase. There is no lowercase to this font. There's nothing you can do to change that. You have to change the font style. You've got very, very dark ones here. And you've got even like this chiller, if you were doing a Halloween type flyer or something. There's also two distinct types of fonts. On this, I'm going to enlarge this font in the background so that you can see it a little bit better. On certain types of these fonts, you will see a line at the bottom of certain characters. You see the character, the P in sports, how there's a line at the base of that P, and on the M for mountain and the N's, you can see a little line on the bottom of those. Those are serif fonts. Now when I go to Arial, there are none of those lines. Those are called sans serif fonts. So you can choose whatever font you want. I'm just going to choose one here. And then what I can do if I want other changes, I can make it bold, because aren't titles normally bold? Okay, I can change the color. This is about sports, so how about let's do green, just thinking outside in sports. I can do anything I want to this to make it more interesting. I can also, the very first paragraph, or wherever you might possibly want it, I can do what is called, I can insert a drop cap. So I go to the Insert tab here, and I go way over here to the side, and there is a drop cap. And I can choose. You see how it's changing? The first letter? Or if I want the first letter in the margin, like newspapers or magazines. You can also change, there are options that you can do. You can make it larger, you can make it smaller if you choose one of those, that you want it in the body and how many lines you want it to drop. But I'll show you an easier way to do that. If you choose a drop cap, you see how you have this box around it. You can grab one of these corners and drag it and make it the size that you want it. So if that's the size that you want your drop cap, and to me you would think that it would be called something other than drop cap, but that is what it is called. And there it's not as large. If I say, oh boy, that's still too large, I can still grab a hold of that corner, or else I can move it like this. I can move it wherever I want it, just by grabbing a hold of those corners. So that's what your drop cap is. You can also change the color of your drop cap. If you want your drop cap highlighted, go over here to your Home tab and say you want this one green. You want this one dark green to match the title. That's just some of the creative things that you can do. if I want some of this text, say I want this whole paragraph, I want to emphasize it, and I can make it italics. You go up here and click on the I. What's the shortcut for italics? It's Control I. The shortcut for bold is Control B, and the shortcut for underline is Control U. So those are just some of the things. If I wanted to underline, say I wanted to do an underline here, I wanted to underline everything here, and I click on the underline. I'm doing the underline so I can show you something different in a little bit. If I say I wanted to change the case and I wanted all of this in uppercase, instead of retyping this, pressing my Shift tab and retyping all of this, I can go to this icon right here where you have the uppercase and the lowercase a, and I open that up. I can make it sentence case, which only the first letter is uppercase. I can make the whole thing lowercase or uppercase, or I'm going to change it back, and I'm going to change it just to capitalize each word. So those are just some of the things that I like to do. I find that really, really helpful when I make a mistake and I didn't realize that I have my cap locks on, and I type even a few words and the cap lock is on. Oh, I don't want to retype the whole thing. So I'll highlight the whole thing, go up here to cap locks, and change the case. Go to case change and change the whole case instead of having to retype the whole thing. Sometimes certain companies, or maybe it's just you like a certain style to your document. Here you've got a certain spacing between each of these lines. Say I didn't want that spacing. What I can do is I can highlight these lines, go up here to your styles, and put no spacing. You see the difference there? So I can go in and change this to no spacing. In your independent challenge, you're told before you even get started on anything, highlight your whole document and make it no spacing. So then you can control all of your spacing yourself. And the easiest thing to do is before you start a document, make it no spacing to where you can control your spacing. Microsoft Word is not. So you also, if there's certain things that your company likes, your company likes it like this. They like blue headings, and they like, they like the caps, and they like certain things. You can go down here in the Styles tab group and click this arrow. There's different types of styles. Here you've got blue headings, and you've got blue characters, upper and lowercase. This one, see how large the font is? This one is blue and italic. This one is all uppercase. You've got any number of selections. This is red and underlined. Once you create one you like, go down here to Save Selection as a quick new style. You can name it, and that way when you want to go back and you don't have to think and say, oh, they want dark green titles and they want it to be 17 point and they want all of these changes, you don't have to do that all yourself. You can go to Quick Styles and do that. Now, when I want to indent items, the first thing that I need to do is I need to turn on my ruler so that I can see what I'm doing. So I go to the View tab and I click this ruler. And so now when I click it, you see your ruler appears. You can see I've got a 1-inch margin on each side, and you don't see any tabs here, but there are tabs when you first get started. So what I need to do, so now that I've got my ruler on, if I want to tab this whole area, if I can select them here, this area, I want to tab those over to 1.2 inches. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Page Layout tab, and I am going to go, I'm sorry, oh, yeah, the page layout tab. I'm going to go to the paragraph group, and right down here is your tabs. So if I want these set at 1.2 inches, remember all of this is in decimals. I'm going to set a left tab at 1.2 inches. I'm going to click OK. Now what happens? If I want to tab over, I can tab over to the 1.2 inches. You see each of those I can tab over. So that works pretty good, huh? Well, the next thing, I can move these tabs. I can move these tabs. See how they're moving? I was on that line. Now, if I want to go back, I can move these tabs over. But see what the problem was? When I move this tab, the tab is only for the line that is highlighted. If I want to move this tab over, if I want to move all these lines at the same time, if I want to reset the tab on all of these lines, what I need to do is highlight all these lines, then set my tab, move my tab back all at once. Otherwise, you're only moving the tab on the line you select. That tricks a lot of students. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about different types of tabs. So when you're ready, go ahead and start with part 2.